Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Artist Blueprint. My name is John Henry Soto, and as always, I'm here with Mr. George Batista. And today we're going to be talking about what's happening on this with this show, the hours. We're going to change the date. No, not the hours. I guess it'll be the same time, but just different day. And a few other things that we're going to discuss today. And hope you're all out there and hanging out with us and giving us some feedback and let us know what your thoughts are and what your goals and if you need anything, if you need any help or anything. I mean, gosh, let's have some fun today and let's help some people and let's have a great conversation. So hang on tight. We'll be right back. All right. So yeah, as I mentioned, we are going to be changing the time or the date. What did I keep saying time? I don't know why. That should not say time change. That should say day change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
John,
It
what's
looked
going
right
on,
when I
man?
first wrote it, and now that I'm talking about it, because I just put these up and then I don't talk about it until I get to the show.
Unbelievable.
So on starting on May 19th, we are going to be on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our show will now air live on Sunday nights, starting on that day that you see on your screen there, May 19th. So please put it on your calendars, tell your friends. We're going to have a great, great, great Sunday night show, just like Ed Sullivan used to do. And if you know who Ed Sullivan is, you are old. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Um, Ed Sullivan had a show for 40 years every Sunday night where he brought in a bunch of talent from everywhere. So he would have like Elvis, the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and then he'll have somebody spinning plates. And then, and
I
just
wish
a
he would
bunch
have
of,
had Sinatra spinning plates.
that would have been excellent.
Hey,
Imagine
Dorothy.
Elvis. Come on, man. Why did we spin my plate, man? Spin my plate, man. Look at
Imagine
this.
Elvis and Sinatra spinning plate. That would have
Yeah.
been that would have been the
But there's a
best.
great clip of them on one of those shows. It's Elvis
Oh, they when they were singing, right?
and Sinatra, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. They
it's
was
also
they.
when Elvis was kind of like, blackballed a little bit because he
Yeah.
was moving his hips and stuff, and he got in trouble for that.
Yep.
And so there was a lot of black PR on him. People were saying bad things, and Sinatra really liked him and thought he was a good, a good young man. Sinatra was a little older than
Right.
he was,
Right.
and he had already established, like really well established. So he had him on the show, and he said to the audience, like, "This is a good boy. This is a talented boy, and I want to support this." And it was really, really nice of him to do that.
Yeah.
That was a big,
Absolutely.
big thing for Elvis because, you know, um, the media. Well, it wasn't really the media. It was just it was the times. People shaking. The way Elvis shook it wasn't pleasant to everyone.
Yeah. Now we have devil worship, but that's.
Yeah. Now we go to award shows and we see a guy coming out with a thong and a devil thing, singing the song. Ooh, baby,
We've
look at
come
my
so
thong.
far.
Look at my thong. I'm going to hell. You come with me to hell. That's like the number one song in the country.
Did you
Come
see
with
Rick
me.
Beato, by the way, when he talked about the top 10 songs of Spotify? Hey,
Mom's
Mabley.
Mabley. That's
Oh,
right.
hey, Dorothy.
Hi, Dorothy. Dorothy is here. Yeah, I remember that. What were you saying? You said
No, I said, did you see Rick Beato when he did the top 10
yes.
Spotify songs?
Yeah, he does that a lot. He'll do like the different genres. I think what he did there was the top 40 in worldwide or something like that. And yeah, it was not good.
No, he had. I think the thing on the thumbnail was, "Is this actually music or something like that?"
Yeah,
It
you know what
was.
was surprising about Rick Beato, and actually I kind of like gained more and more respect for Rick because he at the beginning of his show he was very conservative and in my views. I mean, I don't know Rick Beato, you know what I mean? I
Right.
don't know him, but I would hear him say things about certain music and stuff and be like, hey, I think that it's not doesn't sound too bad. It's not too bad, but what it really boils out to is that it's really bad, and I don't think he wanted to say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think he wanted to kind of like just be more reserved because he's kind of coming up and but now he's got like over 3 million followers and he's
Right.
had the biggest names in music and from Sting to Brian May, to, I mean, just huge names that he's had on his show,
Yeah.
and he continues to do that, you know. So now he's doing these things, and I feel like he's like really like, yeah, this is horrible.
Yeah, especially because he's such a musician.
He's so
And
smart.
he's
Like
so smart,
the,
right? So he
yeah,
sits there and he'll listen to this. He'll actually take songs that I never even dreamed of, and he plays the chords on the guitar.
yeah.
And he'll say, "Look
He
at this."
hears
He
everything,
hears
man.
these, yeah, all these little things, and he'll say, "Why does it go there?" He goes, well, "How come it's so
Yeah,
repetitious? There's no imagination in this." And there
yeah.
was one clip that he talked about Taylor Swift. He goes, "Taylor." He goes, "You are the biggest music star in
I
the
saw
world
that.
right now." He goes, "You could do anything you want, and this is what you come out with."
Right,
It
right.
was like, "What's going
Yeah,
on?"
he said that he's like, you can do anything you want, and this is what she does. Because yeah, I heard the song. I can't even tell you if it was a slow song or a fast song. To be honest with you, I know it was about her being upset about a man.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, her marketing PR is fantastic.
Of course.
She's got all the money and success in the world. So who the hell are we to judge? Other than like musicians that have been doing it for a lot longer than she's
I
been
can judge
alive.
because I'm a musician.
I know.
I don't know.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so yes, Ed Sullivan had this show on Sunday nights, and then we were trying to figure out like we've been on Tuesday night pretty much since the beginning, you know. And one of the things that we were always battling with was like, are we better? Hey, Dorothy, are we reaching? Because Tuesdays it's kind of a rough night. It's kind of still the beginning of the week. People are start. I don't know. I don't even know what a Tuesday feels like. As far as like this, I know what a Friday feels like. I know what a Thursday night feels like. I know Wednesday is Hump Day. I know Monday is Monday. Monday. There's a song for everything except Tuesdays.
That's
I
true.
wrote a song called "Phone Space" from Tuesday. I don't know if you remember that song.
Oh wow, yeah, I do
One of our
remember that
one of
actually.
our early one of our early records.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that on purpose because the Tuesday just doesn't have a thing. So I wrote the song for Tuesday. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is a big restaurant night and music night. Friday is a big night also. So
Tuesday has tacos.
Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. That's what Tuesday has gotten so far. So because we are not a taco show, we thought, well, what evening can we do that actually would be a better night, and we thought maybe Sunday night because people are kind of winding down from their weekend, getting ready for the week, and maybe they want to come on and listen to these two knuckleheads talk about a subject or have a guest on, that would be really cool. Ask questions and we could just have a conversation. And really the purpose of this show is also to be a little bit motivational, even though that's a word that's been overplayed, but really to inspire and to let's start Monday great, so maybe that's, we can, do something like that. So we're going to start on Monday. On Sunday,
Sunday.
starting May 19th will be our first Sunday night show. And yeah, beautiful Saturday counterpoints. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful Saturday. Yeah, that's what I
beautiful
think.
Sunday counterpart. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I like about it also is because there are folks, let's say, who may not be with us on a Sunday night, but Monday morning may listen to us
Mhm.
on their way to work. And maybe they want a little motivation. Maybe they want a little laughter on their way, because Monday mornings, I mean, it's either you're motivated or you're having a heart attack on Monday morning. I mean,
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
think
And we
that
talk a lot about that.
yeah,
You
a
know.
show like this, or just some, just humor and just laid back stuff, listening to it on a Monday morning on the way to work. Sometimes it's good for
Yeah.
people.
And I think also our show is very, not, I don't think it's a knock on our show, but our show is light. What I mean,
Right.
our
It
show
is.
is it's about conversations about a subject that, it could be either music or film, or we could have a guest on. Obviously it's based in being an artist of some type. It's the artist blueprint, obviously. So we do actually focus on that, but it's not always about that. Like right now, we were just talking about Rick Beato. Now he's talking about music, so that's an art, right?
Right.
Sometimes we'll talk about Star Trek, and that's, that to me, those are actors, those are writers, those are shows that had were pretty relevant at the time, the 60s show and even the 90s shows, right? So I think that the show is something that you can turn on, listen to, and you can also listen to some of the stories that we tell about situations that we've gone through or things that we are currently experiencing. I always think of like, how can I use this as a teachable moment,
Yeah.
right? That's like a big thing for me.
Mhm.
It's like, if I make a mistake, or if I fall on my face in some capacity, rather than be like, oh God, I don't want nobody to know about this, I'm going to try to turn that into a teachable moment so I can actually learn from it, and then I can help others learn from it so they don't
Right.
fall on their face the way I did, right?
Exactly.
And that to me is like what we try to do on the show. Um, and Friday, oh, let's do our sponsor, because we have a sponsor, and I'm yammering. Yammer, yammer.
All you do is talk, talk,
Dude,
talk. I'm
take it
just
away,
gonna
Jorge.
I'm gonna do karaoke today.
The
All right.
Artist Blueprint is brought to you by
Yeah,
Wonderful
I
Blueprint.
should do that. I should try that. Maybe I'll do it with like a guitar next time.
Our
All
radio
right.
station.
So,
What's happening to our show? Why are we crashing?
so yes, the artist blueprint.
Hit the wrong
Really,
thing.
John?
I'm sorry. Start again.
That's so wrong, man. This guy
It's
has
right next to the other one. I hit
this
the wrong
guy
one.
has tortured me for pretty much
It's right over. It's right
for almost
next to
50
wellness.
years of my life, and the one time I get the spotlight to do a sponsor, and he just
I apologize.
cuts me off. Damn
Let's
it,
do it. Let's do it.
freaking Puerto Rican. All right. So anyway, the art.
Sorry.
Stop it. Oh, this is my life, people. The artist blueprint is brought to you by Wellness Resources, a family-owned and operated nutritional supplement company providing the highest quality, clinically formulated supplements since 1985. Find out why they are my favorite supplements and the favorite supplements of many, many people around the world. Check them out at myvitaminresource.com. Don't forget, as our listeners and viewers, and because we're just really cool guys and we wanted to help you out, if you enter the promo code Artist Blueprint at shipping, you will get free shipping on the order. And then on top of that, you will take advantage also of their monthly special. And this month, brand new special this month, 25% off their digestive supplements in May. Now, let me tell you, people, gut health is so huge. Your gut touches everything. I just did a lot of this on my past show. So just remember, you got to maintain that gut. So the best way to do it, obviously eating good and a good healthy lifestyle. But if you want some extra help, check out Wellness Resources digestive supplements like Digestive Helper and their enzymes, their probiotics, fantastic stuff. So again, Wellness Resources supplements at myvitaminresource.com.
I use Hamburger Helper. That's the only. No, actually, the digestive stuff is really incredible, because
Yes.
I did actually have I during I think it was during COVID. You had recommended something, and I bought some supplements, and it helped tremendously. Like we were talking earlier, right before we went on the show, about supplements, and talking about gut and gluten and all that stuff, and how there's so many different viewpoints and people talking about so many different ways of taking care of your body and all that. And we thought, if you gather up all these not just medical doctors, but I'm talking about nutritionists and wellness people, and people that really are studying studies regarding supplements and food and what the food actually does, and those guys, you can pick. You used the phrase, I can't remember what you said. Cherry pick, I think you
Yeah,
said. I
you
don't
can
know.
cherry pick. Yeah.
Yeah, you cherry pick things that will work for you, and then you try them out, and then if that doesn't work, try something else out. Because that's what I did. I literally, okay, I remember I used to. George knows about this. I'll be a little transparent here, but I was having like an issue with my breathing. And it was really weird, and it would happen like when I was like if I was nervous, like if I was getting up on stage to talk, and my breath was like, so a
Right.
couple of times that I've had to do speeches, I'm like, even on the show a couple of times it came in, if I got nervous, and I have this weird kind of breathing pattern, and I thought, okay, well, it's my nerves.
Right. Right.
But then it would happen during regular conversations, and then I
Right.
started happening more and more, and I thought, okay, I wonder what's going on. I thought maybe it was too much sugar, too much gluten, whatever it was. So I started cutting things. I cut cookies. I cut donuts. I cut. I never really was a cake guy, but I cut cake.
Right.
If we go to a birthday party or something, I don't eat cake. I don't let them eat cake either. I So what I started doing was, as I take something out, I see how I feel.
Yeah.
And I would say it took years of cutting something out and then seeing that doesn't work, and then putting something in and then trying something. And recently I found, I stopped pasta, which I always loved pasta, and that even good quality pasta. I don't even know what that is, but I stopped pasta because it turns into sugar, and then that's a big sugar boost, and
Right.
the metabolism, and what is it, the glucose index thing goes
The
like this,
glycemic index. Yeah.
the glycemic index and all that. So bread, I stopped doing bread. I stopped doing rice. I stopped doing rice. So these are big things, And so I started doing meats, vegetables, eating eggs. I've never really done, I don't do fast foods. I haven't done fast foods in whatever years. It's not true, because Chick-fil-A is fast food, and we've done that sometimes. But I stopped all that, and it went away. I literally went away. I did a show on Friday night. I had the You Are the Magic, and I had to go on stage, and I had to introduce acts and all that stuff. Nothing. I was completely fine. I was nervous just because being on stage is, you get more not nerves, but more anxious. It's like anticipation of getting there and all that.
Right.
But I was fine. I didn't have that, and I haven't had it since. So for me, that was a successful, split test. Like I try stuff, and and then I call George all the time, and I ask him stuff. Like, I'm starting to feel a little thing right over here. And he'll say, okay, and he'll ask me questions, and then we'll figure out. Now, I will say, George is not a doctor, so
Just play one on TV.
Yeah. So everything that we're saying here is strictly, go see your doctor. It's just strictly us talking about our experiences. You go see your doctor. You go ask your doctor, and ask him all you want to ask him. Ask him about Cialis. Ask him about Viagra. Ask him about, everything. Vioxx. Ask them about Vioxx. See if they can prescribe. No, don't do Vioxx. Vioxx killed 50,000 people.
But you know what? This thing that you said, that's not that this is a health show, but I just as far as just a conversation. But the thing that you said about we talked about all these health gurus, right? And they all say, and you put it in a pot, and you see all these things that happen.
Yeah.
But there are, no matter what, there are very basic things that you could pull out from any guru. It doesn't matter, right? It's like, if you think about the thousands of health gurus that are out there, right? Most of them don't agree on every single thing. Right. But we do agree on certain things, right? We all agree that exercise is good. We should be exercising, right? Exercise, it could be as good as a lot of drugs out there.
Although there is someone now that talks it. Anyways.
Right, but you're right, because there are doctors, and I've even heard them, that don't think that, to them, well, like one of them says, don't exercise unless you have any nutrients. Another one said, there's another one, a very popular one, who's written books and everything, who says, if exercise was the biggest thing, so would be living to 100 years old.
Correct.
I said, okay, I understand that. I can get that. But you still need to move. I'm sorry. The human body was made to move.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to exercise.
Think,
you got to put into perspective, right? But exercise is.
We have a series of blood vessels, and blood. It has to move.
Well, of course,
So you
because
have to move it. You got to drink water,
well,
and
the point
you
is
have to move.
it's circulation. Okay,
Right, circulation.
your joints are hydraulic. That's the way they work. They, in order for them to actually get, nutrients, you have to move, or else they stiffen up, and that's how you develop arthritis.
Arthritis, yeah.
Okay, so that, so you have to, right, fruits and vegetables. Everybody says you need to have that, right? No, nobody's gonna say no. Don't eat your fruits and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Don't smoke,
I'm
right?
waiting for that to come up, like
Yeah,
do the new
or
pyramid, and be like McDonald's up on top.
you lose weight, get back to an ideal weight as much as possible, right? Those types of things. Just four things
Yeah,
like that.
flexibility is also really
Flexibility,
important.
simple things.
Yeah,
If people did just those four things,
correct.
we would be a healthier nation. Period.
Completely.
Okay,
Completely.
forget about. I mean, you don't even have to get technical with the gluten and the this and the that. Just do those four things,
Yeah,
and we would still be a healthier nation. But the problem is we don't even do that.
right. And I think it has a lot to do with the workaday world. I mean, we have
Correct.
a society that has to. Some people have to work 60 hours a week just to be able to make ends meet.
Right.
There's stresses of trying to pay the bills, the economy, the all the stuff that's going on in the world, all the wars that have been started recently, everything that's happening in the world. It's become stressful. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So people aren't really thinking right now, oh yeah, I gotta go join a gym or I have to go work out. The thing is, you don't have to do you don't have to go join a gym.
No.
You don't have to change drastically. I mean, there are some things that you do have to change. Like if you're a drink, if you drink heavily, well, we know that alcohol in excess can actually damage you. And that's not a doctor, that's not us because we're not doctors. That's just people have said that, and that is true. And that's been proven, right? That's why
Right.
it's on,
Yeah.
and same thing with smoking. It's on the side of the box. I mean, the side of the pack says you could die from this thing in here, right? So it says it right there, right? So we're not saying that you have to make, the biggest drastic. And the reason we're talking about this because this is artist blueprint. But as an artist, George and I talk about this, and we
Yeah.
would talk about this even before we were into doing a show, or years ago when we were still playing in the band. We were doing health and fitness
Yeah.
because we felt better while we were playing.
Right.
We felt better. We were, and yeah, of course we were younger, but still it's such an important thing to be able to be mentally sound and also have your body function the way you want it to function. And people will say, well, these people did this and these people did that and they made it with drinking. You're not them.
Exactly.
You're not them. For
And
whatever
how
reason.
how do you know if you're them or not? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You
yeah,
don't.
yeah. What are you gonna do? Just risk it because
George Burns was 100 and smoking cigars.
right, right. And cigars also, you don't inhale cigars.
That's true.
You kind of just puff on it and just for the flavor of it. So I don't know about anything too much about that. But my point is that this is part of why we do this show, is because we want to be able to give perspectives
Right.
on different things and have people ask questions and whatever they what does he say, John? John was great after he stopped irregularly breathing on. Well, we know that's a lie because as my height and your height,
That's true.
that'd be the lower part of your back, and then it's really creepy. Artists are athletes. Oh, absolutely. Artists
Yes.
are athletes in their own right. Absolutely. You kidding me? I mean, the stress sometimes that an artist has to go through is tremendous, and it is we are competing with ourselves mainly, but it is a competitive industry. So I think that the more advantage that you can have on the bigger leg up you can have on your art as an artist, the better off you'll be, and that's part of it.
Absolutely. When
Why
you
did
look
we
at
start
the,
talking about this?
I don't know. Why? No, I was gonna say you look at like some of these bands, like even the big bands, like the heavy metal bands, the Metallicas of the world, and these guys and these drummers who
The big
have to.
bands, I'm thinking like
No, I mean
Benny Goodman.
these
Like Benny Goodman? Yeah.
these popular bands, right? Who play hard. Like look at Lars from Metallica, right? This guy for 2 hours is banging away. I mean, you've got to be able to sustain
Yeah.
that, and night after night.
Well, look
You
at
know,
Neil Peart.
Neil
That's
Peart, right?
one of
Exactly.
our favorite drummers and human beings of all time. the guy, he wasn't just playing the drums.
No, he
You know
was.
what I mean?
Yeah,
He had triggers. He had a spinning set. He had drums on the front, drums in the back. He had cymbals all around. I mean, he had a whole orchestra going on back
that's
there.
right. That's right.
And you think he could just be half asleep, didn't get a good night's rest, didn't eat well? You can't do it.
Yeah.
You do bad shows. As a matter of fact, there's a few bands now, which I'm not going to name them, but they were popular hair bands from the 80s, and they're on tour right now, and they're getting smashed. They're getting trashed because people are saying they sound terrible. And the reason they
Wow.
sound terrible is because when you look at them, you can tell they're not healthy.
Right.
They're not in, I mean, they look horrendous. And I feel bad because I love the music,
Yeah.
but they can't. Your vocal cords are so important to health.
That's right.
You have to be hydrated. That's an instrument that you have to take care of. You have to do exercises. You got to eat well. All these things are super super important. But we went off on a tangent. I don't even know what we're talking about. But we were talking about the Sunday night and the kind of shows that we're gonna do. So, but anyway, that was the point, that we wanted to make about just nutrition. Now, once again, we are not doctors. George is a wellness coach. George knows a lot. I go to George first before I do anywhere else. I also go on to YouTube. But my point, go to Dr. Berg and George. And we have
Dr.
a
Berg
doc.
and I were on the same email, by the way. Just so you know.
Nice.
You saw that, right?
I saw that. Very, very cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen. You have to make decisions, based on what's and this is what I was gonna go at that. You and I we were talking about lifestyle.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was like, the word diet is such a buzzword and it's such a triggering word.
Right.
You can't tell someone go on a diet, but you can say, well, what's your lifestyle like?
Exactly.
And you can say, well, what do you normally eat for breakfast? What do you normally eat for lunch? What time of the day do you eat?
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
that's a big thing. People would really just get, that they just don't put that into perspective. Like I started doing intermittent fasting.
Right.
I started about a year and a half ago or so, right? And it's completely changed my whole life. It changed my body structure. It made me more cut, like more leaner.
Yeah.
And I didn't change what I ate, except, well, I mean, I cut those things, those sugary things that I
Mhm.
talked about. But I could still eat a hamburger if I wanted a hamburger. You know what I
Right.
mean? I could eat, I eat chicken, I eat vegetables and stuff, and I don't necessarily miss anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'll eat, like around 6:30. Like I just ate right now before this show here. I ate around. I finished around 6:15 or something, you know, and I won't eat again till tomorrow, maybe 1 o'clock. And I don't feel it. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel tired. I feel energetic. That food that I just put into my body is going to get used.
Right.
See, this is we could talk about that too at some point. We'll do a show. I mean, I like to do these kind of shows too because I think that George is a wealth of information. He's got thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on this subject, so he can talk about this stuff. And he's also a wellness coach and he is certified, so or certifiable.
Yeah. It depends who you ask.
Yeah. So, but this is an important thing for artists to really understand. So we'll
Correct.
we'll be doing shows like this as well, where I'll ask George questions and we'll talk about that and we'll have some studies and stuff like that. Do you have
Yeah.
something you're showing?
No, no, I was just going to say that it's, and it goes back to what we talked about before, just kind of on your point there, again, the reason why you are doing that and you've changed it because it's up here,
Oh,
right?
it's
It's up
mindset.
here, and it's the mindset. And I was telling John that on my show, a few shows ago, I did my big revelations
I want to watch that one. I
when
haven't
I
seen that
was,
one yet.
yeah, I did my big revelations of my health journey. So the things that just came to mind that I realized as I was doing my health journey, and it wasn't necessarily like a how to. It's more of what I was thinking.
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, I just realized this. Oh wow, I just realized that. Holy cow, I just, and then the more and more I started to realize, the more and more like things like the sixth sense starts getting put together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you start realizing that then you kind of get this whole picture. And this is kind of what brought me to health today, you
Yeah.
know?
And isn't it funny that as you're eating better and taking more responsibility for your body, your mind starts cogniting on
Yes.
more things
Yes.
because you're
Yes.
more clear. Your mind is clear, so you can actually start thinking of things and start
Yes.
looking at something more objectively. With more objectively, and come up with viewpoints and come up with ideas for things that you would have never thought of if you'd been bogged down by, like, because food, you know can drown you. It can drown you and make you feel bad, and
Right.
you're um I mean, the bad, food that doesn't give you the nutrition that you need, right?
Right.
Empty calories, people say, right? People
Yep.
always use that expression. It's nothing really with empty calories, I don't think. I think it just doesn't give you the actual nutrients that your body needs.
That's right.
So if you eat like white bread, if you eat a Wonder Bread, like we grew up eating Wonder
Wonder
Bread,
bread. Yeah.
that was it, Wonder Bread. Um, if you eat Wonder Bread, well, that bleached flour is not going to give you anything that's going to make your body stronger or better.
Yeah. True. Very, very
So,
true.
but that's something that you have to take responsibility for and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to listen to George. I'm going to watch some of his shows. I'm going to go on to Dr. Berg or wherever I'm going to go, and I'm going to do something like that because I think it's really important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, it starts there in the noggin. Dorothy, I feel good. I knew that I would.
I feel
Jesus.
good.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel good, and I
That's
knew
one
that I
way.
would.
That's
Well,
one
I
guy that felt good.
knew that eating healthy, and it was, none of that. I hate saying like eating healthy. It's not. It's just eating smart. It's just being smarter about what you're putting into your body
Well, you're
and
eating
finding
the
fuel.
stuff. Yeah, you're eating the stuff that your body's
Yeah,
supposed to have,
fuel.
and the fuel that gives it
Yeah,
the
it's it. Like
actual fuel.
I can't tell you how now, brown gal. Now I can't tell you how now I do not go around thinking that I'm missing something sugary, or people
Yep.
like they need a treat, they need a dessert. There's you can go back into the 50s when the sugar industry got together with and created like dessert after meals,
Yeah.
and how eating something sweet after your meal curbs your appetite. This is actually what they were saying on the news. I mean, you can go on YouTube and you can look at all these old
Yep.
advertisements. They had babies drinking 7 Up, pure sugar water, and all that stuff. So it's not like these we're up against good people. We're up against people that just want to make a profit. I
Right.
got nothing against making a profit. Now, if it goes against humanity, then I do have a problem with that. Or if it goes against, if it's injuring someone and making someone feel addicted to this food, because some of them, I think Doritos just came out with a thing and they talked about that. I mean, that is like an addictive food. It's got it in there. It's a
Yep.
thing.
Hmm.
So all right, this has become that kind of a show. So we are going to start our shows May. I'm going to put that back on there so I can get it shown a couple of times. May 19th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our show is gonna be on Sundays starting on May 19th. So
You're starting your week off right.
yes, and that's kind of like how we want to make it. We are live. We're gonna, so we're gonna be able to take questions and be able to, you know, I mean, we want to take questions. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your thoughts are. We want to hear if you have any suggestions or anything that you've experienced that you want to share with us. You can do that as well. And it'd be great at some point to have like a 1-800 number where people can call and we just take phone calls different people, and I'm sure there's a way that we can do that at some point.
Yeah, definitely we could figure
Let's
that
take
out.
some calls, and prank calls are
You
welcome.
guys suck.
Yeah. Damn it, George! Stop telling your mom to call. She keeps calling us.
She's the one that's saying you guys suck.
Yeah. Is that your mom again? Jeez. But yeah, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about our weekend, or my
Yeah,
week.
how was your show?
Yes, I'll talk a little bit about that. So this past Friday, May 3rd, was the first "You Are the Magic" concert series brought to you by JHS Talent Management, and it was great.
That's
It was great.
awesome.
It started off a little bit rougher than I had hoped. Did a lot of outflow, a lot of marketing and stuff, and a lot of people that said they were going to come that couldn't come. And I never really. I know it's hard to make it out to things, and I'm also asking people to come out for hours. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah.
It's a night event. It's a party. And so that can be. But it was free. The event was free. Parking was free. They had good food there, and the bands were great. So we had a great time. So the show opened up with Break Time, who I was blown away, because you don't understand what Break Time means to me as far as a band that I saw in 2018 or something. It was either 2018 or 2019 or something. I know it might have been 2018, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they were brand new. They were good. But the thing I liked the most about them was mostly their energy. They were still working on a lot of kinks. They were learning how to write. So they weren't even writing songs
Mm-hmm.
when I met them. They were doing covers.
Okay.
And I remember sitting with them and telling them, I said, the covers are great, but you guys have to start writing. Start writing. And I remember just telling them, keep writing and write in the style that you want to write. And was it 2019? Mark said, oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah, that was the carnival that we went to. It was a school named Marcis that has a carnival all the time. And yeah, so every year they have this carnival. And so I went there, and I had been chatting, I think, with Sean maybe on Facebook or something, and I saw that he was playing music, and I saw they did something in front of the church that I go to, the Lutheran church that was my church that I used to go to when I was in Bayonne. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check them out. They're playing at this carnival, and I got to see this kid and Tommy perform with these other guys. I don't even know who the other, but they've gone through some different what do you call it?
Personnel.
Yeah, personnel. Yeah, it's another word that I can't think of now, but lineups. They've gone through different lineups and stuff, but it's always been Sean and Tommy. And remember, that's what I told them from day one. I said, just remember that if you guys build the foundation of what break time is, you build it, you put it there, you just stay consistent on that part of it, you'll pull in the guy that you need to play. And you may pull in a bunch of them, and then you can have, but it'll be you guys.
Right.
You guys, as long as you guys are the foundation. And they've been doing that, and they played so well. They harmonized fantastic. They impressed some actual older guys that were there when the Beatles were, like real Beatles guys. And then they said that their vocals and their harmonies were fantastic.
Wow.
Really blown away by them. So Break Time opened up the show, and Break Time was the first band ever on the You Are the Magic concert series, #1. So they were the first band. It was really great. And then we came on. It was Mockingbird Canyon Road. We played. We played okay. The band played great. I didn't play. I didn't feel like I played well. I was struggling with my amp for some reason. I don't know what happened. Something happened with my settings, and I was very tingy. And I was miserable most of the time playing. And that was just on me. That was a learning lesson, on some of the things that I got to adjust. And every show, we played our last show that we played before that. We played great.
Right.
Like everything was perfect. And, it was, but this was a little different situation. I think what it was, and this is just
no vitamin C.
I forgot to take my CalMag. my calcium and magnesium was low. Um, no, I think what it was that we on the last gig that we did at the club called The End, we were mic'd, and in this club here they
Oh.
don't mic the bands.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I had to crank up my amp, and when you crank up an amp
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
really meant to crank up all the way,
Hmm.
it doesn't react the way. I tried to handle it with the yeah the hamburger helper was the hamburger helper wasn't helping. um, when that happens, it's hard to adjust it, right
Yeah.
off the fly and stuff.
Yeah.
So the band played great. The other guys played great. It was just again, that's me being critical on myself because that's how I am. But I did. So after we played, Soul Chest came on, and they were fantastic. They are so tight. They're tight, just like break time. They were, they really, they do a really, and I knew that because I've seen them live a bunch of times.
Right.
So I knew that, and I knew that what they would do, and so they brought they ended the show really, really strong for us, and I was really happy about that. Very, very grateful for break time opening it up amazing, and for us holding it together, and for Soul Chest really closing out the night strong. I was really grateful for. So the night was really great.
Good.
And during that whole time, I also was talking to Chris, who's the guitar player for Soul Chest, and he has the Fender Pro Master, the Fender Tone Master Pro, which is sort of a modeling amp, which is like the Helix and
Okay.
those kinds of things. But this one just came out. Well, it just came out. I think it came out like maybe 7-8 months ago or something. And so it sounded like, and he had been telling me about it. He's working on this thing, and he's getting these sounds, and there's no amp, so you don't have an amp. You just plug in directly your board to the mix,
Oh,
and there's
okay.
no amp. He
Okay.
had on stage. He had a little speaker, but it was only a monitor,
Right.
so he can listen, so he can hear himself, and he
Right.
can hear. And so I got fascinated with it. And so I was asking him about it. And so while we were there after the show and stuff, he started showing me some of the settings and some of the things he does. And it's basically, this is all geeky band stuff, but it's basically a lot of the amps that we all know, the Tweeds and all the Fender Deluxes and all of the amps from throughout time have been programmed into this to sound really, really good.
Oh, okay.
And then all the pedals are also in there.
It's
So
kind
I
of
can
like it's kind of like that version, like the way the electronic drums are set up. They have all the kits,
yes,
put in there, so they
right,
sound, and you can get all the different kits and stuff like
correct,
that. Right.
correct. Like the electronic drum sets in the old days, it used to be a sound
Yeah.
effect.
Right.
Now it's not. It's an actual recording,
Of the actual drum.
of the
Right.
actual drum itself of
Yeah.
what that sounds like. So if you want a piccolo snare,
snare,
if you wanted a deeper snare, whatever you want, you actually can punch it up. So it's the same concept. This has all the everything in it. It was pretty. I was blown away by that. So I came home, of course, and I started looking. So my next purchase, it's not
Oh
cheap
my
though,
God.
but that will be my next purchase very soon. And because another reason was that because I have a back issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like my back is fine now. I don't have any issue. I'm going to the chiropractor. I'm taking my supplements. And I do my workouts twice a day, and I'm good. It's still heavy picking
Sure.
up. I have a pedal board, George. Remember my pedal board that I used to have when
Yes.
you and I were playing?
Yes.
Twice that.
Wow.
Okay, and it's in a heavy case. It's like a heavy. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. I didn't know I was going to move to Nashville to play music. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. I bought it because I thought it was going to be at home.
Sure.
And then at some point I wanted to have a studio and put
Right.
it in a studio and play. That was my thought process when I bought the damn thing in 2018 or something. Or maybe 2019. I don't remember when I bought it, but whenever I bought it, I had no idea that this was going to be the thing. So carrying it and putting it into my trunk of my car and my amp and everything, my guitars, it's really it's just too much right now at for me. So I'm gonna get this thing, and that'll alleviate a lot of pain. But anyway, that's the geeky stuff. But yeah, the show was really great. I at the end of the show, Barry and Lachelle, his wife, were really happy. And as a matter of fact, you know, Barry came to me, with break time and our band, and he was just like, wow. He was just like, wow. He was like, and then at the end of the show, and you could always tell, when someone reaches out, they
Hmm.
don't have to, right? But
Yeah.
he sought me out and he said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" We started chatting. He's like, "Man, thank you so much for bringing this today. I had no idea what you were gonna bring, and I'm just blown away by these guys." He really loved Soul Chest. That was like his favorite.
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, man, that's what that's what we do. And yeah, it's a powerful piece of equipment. So many emulations, effects, and parity. Yeah, it's really, really amazing. Um, and yeah, so I'm gonna get that. Um, and then so Barry wants to do another one. So
Nice.
we're gonna get together. I'm going away next week to Phoenix for a thing, so I'll be back on the 18th, and then on the 19th we do our first Sunday night show. And then that week, I'm going to talk to him about setting up another show. I think it's going to probably be end of August, September, because in June, I have stuff in June. July, I'm going to Florida for the whole month. And then August, I come back
Right.
the beginning of August, and it's going to be a little bit too short notice, although I can work from over there too, but I like to be in here. So I'm thinking maybe September we'll do another You Are the Magic there
I
and
would
get
like at some point
uh-oh.
to I would like at some point to maybe when when you put one of these things on to join you guys on stage.
Yes. Oh, I think about that all the time.
Yeah. So
I think
at
about
that my
bringing
goal at some
Noel together
point,
for like one
yeah,
final
at my
show.
goal at some point, I'd love to play with you guys, or just maybe even just
Yeah,
a couple of tunes or stuff, just to have some fun,
yeah,
just jam out,
yeah.
and
The thing that's amazing about Nashville, and I think Sean could actually attest to this because Sean was here on his first night here. We went to Papa Turney's and he heard blues. We had some barbecue, and
right.
then we went from there. That same night, we went over to the Why Not Saloon where we were going to do our show on Friday,
Hmm.
but we went there on Wednesday night because a friend of mine named Jeff Woods is doing a thing there called the West Side Collective, which
Hmm.
he's bringing bands and stuff like that. He's doing
Okay.
something really cool there too. So we went there, and the first night they're already on stage with Jeff, because that's what Nashville is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if you want to, like right now, right this second, it's 7:47 on whatever it is, Tuesday night, right? If I grab my guitar and I go out, I can play probably in 5 or 6 different places. If I just put my name and I sign in, I could just play. I mean, that's just what it is here.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing opportunities for people, for that. So I would love to do that. I would even love to like one day just kind of have Holland and Eddie, which I haven't really been keeping in contact with
Oh,
Eddie too much,
that would be.
and just kind of do one show and try to see if we can remember some of the songs and
I listen.
put
That I
together a show and film it and just have
Yes.
it as
Just
as a
memories. Just
as a memory
memories.
that we can actually give to our grandkids and stuff,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
band reunion kind of a thing.
Yep. Yep.
Because we had, I know sometimes it gets a little depressing talking about this, but we had a great band.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a
We did.
really, really great band,
We did.
and it wasn't perfect. There were a lot of, we had, you know, it wasn't perfect. But as far as what we did, the recordings and the music that we did, especially the stuff right at the end that we
Yes.
were putting
Yeah.
together,
Yes. Was I
that
mean
stuff,
there was
yeah,
amazing
the
stuff
stuff at
coming
the
out.
end was really coming together as
Yeah.
like something really special. I think you can
Hmm.
see it in that live performance of the Devil Tree
Yep.
song,
Hmm.
where you could see we're going somewhere really interesting.
Yeah, it was starting to get really. There was like more intricate stuff happening.
More
There was
intricate. It
more
was
directions we were
ambiance.
going. It
There was a
was yeah.
lot
It
of
was yeah.
a lot of liberties in our
Hmm.
playing. We
Yeah.
were tight enough where we can actually take liberties on trying stuff
Yep.
during songs. So it got to that point, and it was just really a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So I would like to do something like that, again for sure, and it's gonna happen. Like I know it's gonna happen. This first show was sort of a trial run here in Nashville. I don't really know a lot of people in Nashville,
Right.
to invite to stuff. I'm meeting them, I'm having some great successes. I'm meeting some great people that are really gun ho about music and just want to do the music and stuff and want to support artists. So I'm meeting a lot of those, which is really I'm grateful for. But it's the first one. I did get a really nice message from the mayor of Nashville, Freddie O'Connell, who I had invited to a couple of things, and but he always writes back to me, and he's been writing back even more as of late. And it was Friday night was a great night for the You Are the Magic concert series. Yes, I'm sorry, Sean, you're right. I will talk about her. Give me 1 second. But on Friday night, freaking Morgan Wallen was in town, the biggest country singer in the world.
Oh,
Um, the Predators, which is the hockey
oh, the
team,
hockey team.
was
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
playoffs.
yeah.
And there was a
Well,
bunch of other stuff
we
going
we
on.
had that problem once.
Well, I think I mentioned that to somebody. I told that joke to somebody. Yeah, so there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on Friday night for the show. Not that, but anyway, the mayor said, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to I'm taking his daughters, I'm taking the girls to go see the Predators play tonight." And I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "All right, no, no problem." He said, "But thanks for inviting me," and so that was kind of cool. And then he had posted something about saying like about traffic. Don't forget, leave with enough time because Morgan Wallen is in town, the Predators are playing, and there was this is happening, this is happening. And then I wrote, and don't forget that You Are the Magic competition is also happening. Make sure you leave early enough. And he was just like, he was like, yes, he gave me a thumbs up. That's right. So that was kind of funny,
Oh, that's funny.
But I'm meeting people.
Yeah.
I met some people also at the museum, the Tennessee State Museum, where we had a show where Isis Christopher, who also came to the show on Friday, and I'm sorry, I can't believe I didn't bring her up, but she performed a song with Soul Chest because she sang background with Soul Chest before and on a
Oh.
record that they did. So she's familiar with them. That's how I met Isis, was
Oh, okay.
through they the Tennessee State Museum reached out to JHS Talent about a Black History Month event,
Right.
and then I reached out to Chris and asked him if he knew anyone that would be good for this event. He
Mm.
recommended Isis, and then I called her up and I met with her and stuff, and I heard her stuff, and she was fantastic. So I sent her to them, and then they booked the gig and stuff, and they paid, and we paid her, through them, and it was great. It was great, and
Nice.
she's literally one of the best singers I've ever heard live.
Wow.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. She was incredible. She was incredible at the show Friday night. She was kind of just doing backgrounds and stuff, so you get to see her power. But one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to have a You Are the Magic concert series with her and a few other, maybe like a female evening, if you can say female these days.
John,
But
how dare you?
yeah, with them on stage, and then have a country night. Have country artists. I've had some really great country singers here, and have an evening with them, and really, the one thing I do have to work on is the fact that I shouldn't be playing on the night that I'm hosting an event
Mm.
with you know what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
felt there was so many things that
So
dropped
many things
because
to
I
do.
was the one that was trying to do. Like I have a little camera, I have a little a Zoom, ZOM, the Zoom companies,
Right.
and it's a 4K camera. It's really great, and I put it on the side of the stage, and I plug it in because the batteries will die in 30 minutes. So I plug it in so it can go and can record, and it has a card in it that records 3.5 hours. So
Wow.
I just let it
That's
run,
great. Right.
and it's 4K, and it's really cool. It kept unplugging. It kept saying that battery low, and I'm like, how can it be bad? But so it wasn't plugging into the wall correct. Like it kept coming loose, like it was a loose plug. And so that I couldn't. So but I go back there, and I'm like, are you? So I did get a lot of it. I got about an hour. I got all of break time.
Right.
I got their whole set. I got some of our set, not a lot, and then I got nothing from Soul Chess on that.
Oh.
And my heart just
isn't
like,
it terrible when the stuff
hey,
like that? You plan
yeah,
you
and I had a
plan for
camera. I had my DSLR camera, so I was taking photos. I did some videos that came out really
right.
nice with them. Brian was there, so Brian Pierce, my business partner for JHS, was there, and he did some stuff. He has a really high end phone, and so he did some really good. I saw the footage; it looks really great. Video, photos, and stuff like that. So I put some stuff out, just photos recently on Facebook. I'm gonna put out some more stuff in the next, the weeks coming. But that was like the bummer, and you get off stage, and I don't know,
Yeah, I know.
and I connected it, and then I run over there to get my camera, and I'm doing some stuff, and I'm paying attention to it. I'm trying to enjoy the show. I'm also trying to see who's in the audience and see how the audience is reacting, and then I go and like I'm not recording at all.
I remember I was, just funny about funny about stuff like stuff that happens on stage and live when you don't even think about, right? So I remember I was playing this gig that bass player friend of mine, Donald, got me, and I was playing sort of this rock artist. She was a rock singer. I won't name her, but so we rehearsed a couple of times. It was only a few rehearsals and go. So I had to write the charts on a lot of the stuff because I wasn't really familiar with it. So, but I had it down, and the gig we played actually was at the 92nd Street Y.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
great venue. I mean,
first time I had ever played.
legendary place.
Yeah, first time I had ever played there. It was really cool. So anyway, we were playing there. Everything was good. We had everything set right. So on one of the songs, I was going to do backup. And we had rehearsed it. And those things, right? So the stand was the stand was the stand from the place, right? So
Yeah.
I just put my mic there and everything, right? So it was like literally like here. It was like here. So as we start playing the set and the song comes, the mic stand starts going, and I'm going,
See you later.
and I'm like, and I'm playing and I'm pulling it back. Every time I pull it back, so I'm like,
What the
I
hell?
can't. So every time I go to sing, it's like, so I'm like,
I
yeah. So that was one, right? Another tune, the guitar player, he's going, he's really into it, he's doing his solos. He steps on his chord, the chord pulls out.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
I know that happened to you once.
yeah,
And
that happened, yeah.
and
But it
and
happened more than once. But
and
yeah,
he goes like this, goes back in, right? Then the third thing that happens was, so she switches guitars. So there was a guitar on a stand next to her, and then she's using the other guitar. So we're jamming out. She's going off, and she's like starting to swing. She swings, hits the guitar that's on the stand, and goes this huge crash on the stage.
yeah.
And we're just still playing, but we're like laughing and we're looking at each other. So at the end of the show, after the people still love the show. I mean, they really got into it. But at the end, when she gets back, she goes, "Well, that was a wreck." She walks out. Oh, but it was funny. But it's just one of those things, you just
Yeah,
gotta
what are you
deal
gonna
with
do?
it. You just go with it.
Like, yeah, I learned now to wrap my cord. I mean, I don't know why I never did. Sometimes you don't do it, but now I wrap my cord like twice, around the
Right.
actual strap. So if I do step on it, it never comes off. But yeah, and we did a show on what was it on the one we did at the end. Um, we were playing, and then we never drop our picks, like
Oh,
we're early, So Don's playing and his pick drops, right? So
right.
so he's still kind of like strumming.
Yeah.
So I just bent down and I picked it up and gave it to him in the middle of the song. And then he goes to sing, and then I drop my pick,
Oh my god.
and I start laughing. I'm like, okay, you know. But yeah,
You know.
it's fun though. I mean,
Oh
this is
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and those are small things. Some other things are major. But yeah, I mean, the sound for me, I have a sound in my head that I've been always trying to get, and I can get it with my gear, but the amp cranked up is just not meant for that. That amp is not. I bought. Again, I was not planning on doing this. The only reason I bought that amp was because it was light.
Oh, okay.
It was light to move around. Matter of fact, I went on YouTube and I Googled lightest amps, and it came up with the boss, the Katana. So I was like, all right, so that's the Katana. And I was like, all right, that's the one I'm gonna get. So I bought that amp. It's super light. It's still annoying. It's still not it's not 5 pounds, but it's lighter than like a Fender Deluxe that I used to
Oh,
have.
okay.
And then I had the Nomad. Remember the
Yes.
Carvin
Yep.
Nomad that
That's
was like
right. I remember
400
the Carvin.
pounds.
Yep. Yep.
And so all those things were great, but they're just freaking heavy as hell. So I'm gonna have to, do something to handle that part of it. But yes. Anyway, break time. Soul Chess, Mockingbird Canyon Road, Isis, Christopher, fantastic. Barry and Luchel from the Why Not Saloon. Um, really promising venue. With a lot of potential. It's only been there for a year. So they're really looking to build stuff, and the place is he built it. He's a contractor himself.
Oh, okay.
So the stage is nice, and
Right.
it looks pretty cool. A couple of adjustments that I would suggest at some point, like lighting wise and sound systems and stuff like that. I would just kind of help out in that area if he wants to, listen to me. But yeah, so it was very successful. So I want to thank everybody for that opportunity. It was good. So we're at the hour, top of the hour, and we were going to talk about the show on Sunday, and I think we talked about it maybe for 10 seconds. So I'll just show this again just because
Time change.
it's a time change. Don't forget to set your clocks back 7 hours on May 19th. Remember, it's the first time we're doing this. We're trying to catch up with the sun. And we need 7 hours to go back. So 7 hours. No. On May 19th, we will be live Sunday nights, starting on May 19th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the artist blueprint.live. And yeah, we're going to be bringing you some great guests that we have. We have some great conversations that we want to have. We have some great stuff happening also in our lives that we can bring to the table that we can talk about, like the show that I just talked about, and this is also coming up as well.
Oh
So
yes.
keep track
We're
of
looking
that.
forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, my opening, which is set. Oh, let me just share my opening. It's actually one of our songs. So.
Tied me down over the fields. We'll take this stream where the sun burns in our soul.
Remember those days? I love the feedback in the beginning.
Yes, yes. Memories. I remember recording that.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember where it was, but I do remember recording it somewhere. On
the left hand, time passages.
Beautiful
Is
Sunday.
That a song, time passage here.
The artist blueprint. Yes, I like that. Beautiful Sunday.
Beautiful Sunday. The artist blueprint. That's good. That's great.
Yeah, I like that. It's very catchy. We might use that, Dorothy. We'll give you credit, of course. Thank you. All right, folks. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you all. Well, we'll be here. Actually, no, I'm going to Phoenix.
You'll be in Phoenix.
So I was gonna try to see if I can go live, but then I realized Phoenix is 2 hours difference.
Yeah.
So by the time it's time for the show, I'll still be at filming because I'm filming a conference over there for an organization. So I'll still be working. So I can't be there for that. So we're gonna do this next Tuesday. We'll do a best of episode. Maybe if anybody out there, if you know what we can do, let me know. An episode that you guys want to see again or that you thought was really good, let us know. That'd be great. We'll put that out on Tuesday. And then when we come back, we'll come back to the 19th, which would be Sunday night, and that's when we'll go live again. So tell your friends and tell your family. Don't tell your enemies. I know some people say that. We don't want anybody here. Sean says Kenny Aronoff. Yeah, you know what?
That was a great show.
A great show, right?
That was a fun show. We were oh yeah, it was
Kenny is a
great interview. He's such a wealth of knowledge.
He's a great guy. It was his birthday recently. I texted him. He was like, "Thanks, man."
I love when he talks about playing with the Beatles. Remember when he first seeing the Beatles when he was a kid, and then actually playing with Ringo and
And
Paul.
Paul McCartney. I mean, stories like that you can only very few humans on the planet have
Yeah,
stories like that,
yeah.
and
Think
he was
about
on
that.
our show. I mean, it's crazy,
Yeah, it is.
crazy. And I mean, Steve Smith also was on our show, and
That's right.
not many. He's played stadiums.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Right, well,
stadiums.
stadiums, yeah. So I mean, yeah, we've actually been George and I talk about this how fortunate we are that we've had these conversations because we do this show really for an audience, but we also do it 99% for us because we love to have these conversations and we're just grateful that we're able to bring them to you and if anything those are there,
Yeah.
those are done. That was an accomplishment, and those are things that we can always look back on and be proud of. Lee Haney's an incredible interview, and Oba Babatunde's incredible shows that he's done. He's been here. He's been on 3 times.
Yeah.
And we love him when he comes on. And recently, we've just had on Tommy Burke, who I think is going to probably be our next, coming on at once a month at least. Guess because we really think. And he started also a book club idea that George and I always talk about. So I do have a book idea, and so a book of the week. So hop on pop. I'm kidding. That was my son's. But no, I do want to bring up. I do want to bring this up, and I'm going to talk more.
Wow.
I'm going to talk more about this.
Seen that since you and I were practicing
And kids,
as kids in my room.
I know. So this is how I learned to play guitar.
Wow. Holy cow.
It was a PBS. Remember, we had no YouTube, we had no internet. It was just TV and radio, whatever you listen to.
And
the
video
radio.
music box.
And video music box. Yeah. And so this was a series on PBS, and I think it was a 13 or 14 part series.
Yeah.
And it went through all the different things about music, drums, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, the bass, song structure, reading music. It went through everything. It was hosted by Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I think it says right here, the companion to the public television series hosted by Herbie Hancock, right there. And so it was called Rock School 1. And then and I had this one. This is the original one. And so I've had this one for, I don't know. I mean,
is that the same one? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's actually
Dude.
some of the pages are almost falling out, but what I did was I bought a second one. So I have a second one that I use also. So, I don't really take these out of the shelves anymore.
You talk about 35 years, maybe at least.
Yeah. And here's the interesting, and I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again real quickly. I mean, it's a 2-hour show now, right? So, growing up the way I grew up, we didn't have any money, so I couldn't go out and buy a book. But I saw this on PBS, and I saw that it was like you can get this book. Now I couldn't buy it because I couldn't buy it. But I said, I wonder if they have it at the library. So I went to the library, the Hunts Point Library, wow. And I found it on the shelf. I almost flipped out. I couldn't believe it. I pulled it out. I was like, oh my God. So I brought it home. You only have it for 2 weeks. And I took
and you never brought it back.
Yeah, no. I was always, you know what? For some reason, I was always good about like stuff like that, bringing books back to the library. I always did that. But
that's why he went to Nashville.
Now these pages are kind of falling off, so I gotta hold them. But it has like the fingering of how your fingers look.
Wow.
So I was able to see that, and then it has where the chords are right there, and it gives you where every finger has a number, right? So I went home and I literally on a yellow piece of paper, like a yellow pad, I copied all the images of what it looked like for 2 weeks, and I brought it back. Now I wanted to take it out again. So I said, can I take it out again? And the lady was like, you got to let somebody else take out the book too. You got to wait for it to be on the shelf. So I was like, oh, all right. So she took the book back, and I was devastated because I didn't even think it would be a problem to take the book out again.
Right.
And I had more pages that I was going to go over. And I thought to myself, what if somebody takes it out and doesn't return it? I grew up in the South Bronx, so things like that could happen pretty
True.
easily. So I was like devastated. So I went out and I climbed up on the window. The library was on the first floor, but I still had to climb up.
Oh.
So there was like a window was about this high, so I had to climb up. I looked in the window and I see the librarian guy who had this little book cart where he would take all the books and put them on this little cart, and he would ride them, drive his little car around and put them all back where they belong. So I saw him put this book in that cart, and I stayed there for maybe 20 minutes just on the ledge.
Just like this.
Yeah, so I know people were walking by. Again, I don't know how old I was, very young, 15, maybe 16, maybe. And I'm looking like this, and there comes the book, and I see him taking it out and putting it back on the shelf. So I run back inside.
Oh my God.
I go to the shelf and I take it out, hoping that lady would be out, on a break or something, because I've been out for like almost half hour already, So, but I brought it back, and she sees me with it, and she's like, and I was like, it was on the shelf. You said it was on the shelf. I saw that he just put it back on the shelf. And she just kind of smiled, and she's like, all right. So she signs it out again. So I had another 2 weeks with it and stuff. And so I continued to have this book from the library, right? One day I go to years go by afterwards, right? I don't have access to this anymore, but I did have the sheet of paper with all the chords that I can pull out of this, and the name of the chord and how they were positioned and everything. So years later, like when you and I started hanging out,
right?
I went to a bookstore, and this book was there, and it was like, and I was like, oh my God. And I always look for it. Everywhere I go, I look for it. And there was no Amazon, you couldn't. So now I have like a few more that I bought from Amazon. Matter of fact, I've purchased books for people that I was giving guitar lessons to. So I buy it, and it's in pretty decent shape, and I give it to them and stuff. But anyway, I found it, I bought it, and I had a lot of the chords. By the time I bought this, I already kind of knew how to play it somewhat. But just having it, and in here, which is so crazy, George. This show is going to be like an hour long. Sorry, guys, if you're hanging out, I appreciate you and I love you so much. But you have to see this because it is hilarious. Talk amongst yourselves.
So far, from what I've gathered, that this story could make a great short film.
It would make a great.
I'm just saying.
I think you're right. You know what's funny? That there's all these pictures of all these guitar players and stuff that at the time I didn't know who any of them were really. Wow. And I started looking at them and I started finding their names and being like, who is this? Who is this guy? Like this guy right here. Who is Gary Moore? Like a legend. I don't know who Gary Moore is, and now I know who Gary Moore is. Who is Sting?
Oh, wow.
Actually, I knew who Sting was because of the police. Anyway, I can't find this picture right now, so I won't keep anybody. But anyway,
you were looking in the mirror.
What was that?
And that's the police grabbed you when you were looking in the window.
Yeah. I know. I could have been taken by the police. I mean, the only police I knew were those guys. And anyway, Van Halen. I didn't know who I guess I did know who Van Halen was. I mean, I knew the guys that were like, mainstream and stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I could find this, but I can't seem to find it right now, and I don't want to say it until I find. Oh, here it is.
Oh man. Ugh.
Had no idea who he was. Had no idea who Geddy Lee was. And yeah, and of course, going back now. And then afterwards, there's also another version, which is the keyboard.
Yeah.
Keyboard and vocals, and I think some other things. Electronic keyboards and vocals, just those two things. So, yeah, so I bought the whole set. Anyway, that's my rock school. That's my book. If you go on to Amazon, you might find a copy. It may be like not in great shape. I've bought a couple of them that were kind of rough shape, but good enough that you can still get the cords out of for people. I do have an extra one that I bought. I bought another one, and I just thought for me, it's one of those things, those childhood things that
Yeah.
you just cherish. You know what I mean? Like to me, I look at this book and I just think of myself trying to figure out what a D chord is
Yeah.
and putting my little finger there. And the sheets of paper, those yellow sheets of paper, I still have those.
Really?
Yeah, I still have them with my writing and
Well,
my,
you thinking about it though, I downstairs in my little book collection, I still do have some of my drum books from back then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are things that you just, even when I was moving and, I'm thinking like, okay, I'll give away some of the books
Yeah.
or donate books, but it's like, this is never going away, and it's maintained in pretty decent shape considering, and then I have a baseball card in here that I've had, you're going to crack up laughing, but I've had this card in there as a bookmark, and I don't know if you can see who that is.
Johnny Bench?
Yep.
Wow.
And it's a really
Wow.
old card. It's an all-star baseball card. It's from I won't give the year because I'm blind and can't see it. That's the only reason.
Huh.
Anyway, but yeah, this is my my bookmark that I've had. And I've had this same bookmark. This is the bookmark I've had in there. So that'll be there. Johnny Bench.
Amazing.
Legend. All right. Literally short. I must have missed that, but I guess literally because of the books, literal books, literature.
I think
Sure.
the joke passed.
I just missed
You
it.
had to put it when you
Yeah.
saw it.
Oh, I think Dorothy.
Where was
said,
George? Where was George? Where was I?
your grandfather bought you the guitar. That's right.
That's true.
Right.
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
remembers my older shows that I used to talk a lot about that. Yeah, my grandfather bought me my first guitar when I was 9 years old, and the
short.
the short film.
Short
Okay.
film. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely there's a story in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a story in there
And
somewhere.
George was behind the fence. Couldn't get out of the
Yeah,
fence.
George couldn't. George, I found George in a dog pound when he was about 15 years old. He was terrified to go outside, and I would just he wasn't really terrified, but he just wouldn't go out.
I wasn't allowed to.
And I remember he said once he wanted to play drums, and I said, you should play drums, and I'll play guitar.
Yeah. That's literally how this all started.
Yeah. I said you should play drums because he played drums when he was like, I don't know, 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little drum set.
I had a Muppet drum set.
Yeah, Muppet drum set, and then,
Right, exactly.
and then afterwards, he was 16, I think, at that point, and I said you should play drums and I'll play guitar. I have a guitar, and that's how it started. That's how it started.
That's simple.
And because he was playing with a basketball and the back of a seat. And he would hit the basketball was the bass drum, and he would hit the thing. But you know what you got from that was the
Independence.
The independence.
Yes.
So when the drums came, George literally, I'm not even kidding, everyone. George literally sat. Well, first of all, he didn't know where the drums went, and the only reason I knew where they went was because of this book.
Yeah.
I knew where things went, so I knew that the toms were up here, and I knew that there was a floor tom, and I knew the bass drum. And I knew, so I set up everything the way I saw it in the pictures and stuff. George sat to the back and went like literally the first time he played, he already knew how to play.
But it's funny because I had the first video, which was a VHS video I ever bought, was Chester Thompson's drum video.
That's right.
That was the first drum video I ever bought.
Phil
And I
Collins.
remember put it on there. And I saw the set, but I still didn't know. I didn't know there was a 10-inch and a 12-inch, and I didn't get the concept. I just watched the playing. So then John was like, "Yeah, I think this is the small one here, and the big one's here." And then I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." I was like, all of a sudden, it just happened.
Picked it up. Yeah, it's just meant to be. Those kinds of things.
Interesting, though.
Yeah. So it says George needed the Artist Blueprint promo code.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I did need
hilarious.
that.
All right.
Whew,
Well,
good fun.
thank you for indulging me in that, everyone. Appreciate you very much. Love you guys so much. We will see you all again on May 19th for our first Sunday night show. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So we'll talk more about it, social media and promo and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see you then, George. See you then. Take care. And by the way, watch George's show because George is still doing shows. So watch his show on Sundays as well.
Wellness Talk on
Wellness Talk.
Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Also, georgebatista.com if you want to check it out.
Yep. So our show, both our shows will be at the same time. So we'll figure that out. We'll talk about that. All right, folks. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week ahead. And as always, peace.